All right. KSI versus Paul Logan. Boxing could learn a 2 or 3 or 4 from these dudes in this YouTube boxing match. Something that Deontay Wilder fans already get on a regular basis. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, thank you to the Patreon community and the live stream community for being the backbone of this channel and allowing it to be able to be produced on a daily basis. From the support that you guys show in the Patreon page, on the live streams, through the Cash App, Venmo, and the Super Chats. You guys allow us to be able to do this on a daily basis. And our OG Boxing Talk on Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with my executive producer, Blood Boxing, Curtis Anderson, Trap House Boxing, and KQKC Boxing. I think you guys will really love the live stream conversations that we have on Sunday mornings. Now let's get into this. Yes, I said it, and I mean it and I do believe it's true. Okay, boxing can learn a little bit, or be reminded of something by KSI and this Paul Logan fight, and that is this. When two evenly matched fighters that dislike each other fight, the fight will be entertaining. Whether it is the absolute highest level of the sport or something like this, which is akin to a world star hip hop fight, if you have that legitimate tension in the ring, the fight can be entertaining. But there is a reason in professional boxing why that legitimate tension is often not there. And it is called matchmaking. If you look at the fight card where KSI and Paul Logan, my son kept telling me, Dad, it's not Logan Paul, it's Paul Logan. Okay, so he told me that a bunch of times, and finally I got it right. Paul Logan. That fight, the Devin Haney fight against Santiago, and the Billy Joe, otherwise known by some people as Billy Ho, but I call him Billy Joe, Saunders fights, none of those were overly match made. Now, for people who don't know what matchmaking is, the matchmaker is a part of the boxing, a part of the promoter's boxing team that is responsible for, among other things, picking two fighters to fight. If you have a fight against, the job of the matchmaker is to match somebody up with their fighter. And they also organize a lot of the things about a lot of other things about the actual event and make sure the event is actually run very smoothly. But what they do is they'll decide, hey, we have Vasily Lomachenko who's going to fight somebody. We need to figure out who it is we want to have him fight. And the things that they will look at is, number one, can Vasily Lomachenko beat him? And number two, will it be a close enough fight where the fight will be entertaining for the fans? So it's a balance. The matchmaker is a balance between ensuring that their fighter wins and making sure that it's entertaining enough for the fighter. And when I refer to overly cautious matchmaking, it's fights where you already know pretty much, if you know who the fighter is, you already know the outcome of the fight. And that's what you see a lot of times in boxing. Top ranked cards are notorious for it. Golden Boy Promotions cards are notorious for it. You will have their fighters look extremely good because they've been put in there with fighters whose style or ability matches up well. So for example, if you put in a guy that is a tall, rangy fighter, and you put him in there against a shorter fighter with slow hands, he's going to look good. But if you put in a guy, if your fighter, say, doesn't like inside fighting, say like Vasily Lomachenko had problems with Orlando Salido because Orlando Salido got inside on him and was very rugged, very rough, and it made it for a very difficult fight for Vasily Lomachenko. More than likely, that style, no matter who uses it, is going to cause those same problems for Vasily Lomachenko because of the truth of this statement. Styles make fights. So the matchmaker is trying to match styles. What you had with KSI and Logan Paul is you did not have that was two fighters that, number one, didn't have any style. So there was nothing to match between them, and they were going to fight regardless because they decided to fight. And since they decided to fight, there wasn't any calculation on KSI's team saying, "Whoa, I don't know if Logan Paul or Paul Logan is a good matchup for me," right? Or the other way around. So you had two evenly matched fighters because neither one of them could box very well. And the other aspect of it was legitimate tension. The guys don't like each other. So the buildup of the fight was around two people who you could get for the little bit that I paid attention to these guys and what they were doing in the lead up, I could tell that they legitimately did not like each other. They legitimately wanted to hurt each other. And when they got into the ring, it showed. They showed no regard for one another. KSI came, throwing punches so wild that I guess if he could actually punch and they landed, the guy should have been gone. So he punching so hard that he literally puts, like D-Style Boxing said and showed in a picture, literally puts himself in a chokehold because his hand overextends so far. But you could tell that there was legitimate dislike between the two of them. So the combination of a fight that's where you have two evenly matched fighters, so you don't know who's going to win. I didn't care about the fight, but if I did, I couldn't have told you who was going to win. But I know they don't like each other. They fight. There you go. There was some mystery about the outcome of the fight. That is what is missing, by and large, in boxing matches. On bigger fight cards and bigger boxing matches. I have watched week in and week out fight cards where I knew the outcome of every fight throughout the whole fight. The whole card, I knew the outcome. Oh, who's fighting? Oh, he's gonna win. Oh, who's gonna win? Oh, he's gonna win. Oh, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win. And they never disappointed me. I knew the outcome of every fight. The only question was going to be how easy was it going to be, right? You look at Vasily Lomachenko and you say, okay, every fight that Vasily Lomachenko fights, you know who's going to win. Because I've already seen the guy fight before. You can go through his record and see that, oh, he's beaten. You can literally look at some of the records of these fighters, and you can see that they've all fought fighters who have all fought each other. You can see it in the heavyweight division. You can see it in the lightweight division. And take, for example, these really good heavyweights that Anthony Joshua is fighting in the heavyweight division, right? You have Dillian White, who fought Anthony Joshua, and Dillian White, who fought Joseph Parker, and Dillian White, I do believe, also fought Derek Chisora. And then, so Derek Chisora then sets up a fight. Derek Chisora then sets up a fight with Joseph Parker, but Joseph Parker fought Anthony Joshua. Carlos Takam fought Derek Chisora, and Carlos Takam fought Anthony Joshua. And it's like all of these guys are all fighting each other, right? But then you have situations also where, like, if you look at Vasily Lomachenko when he was at lightweight, and you say, okay, Nonito Donaire, not Nonito Donaire, but Nicholas Walters fights Jason Sosa. Then Lomachenko then fights Jason Sosa. Then Lomachenko fights Nicholas Walters. And if you wanted to look more at like Miguel Mariaga, I guarantee you Miguel Mariaga got a common opponent with Sosa. You see these little networks of fights that are made between particular promoters because their matchmakers are picking fighters that the styles mesh well, that they believe mesh well with one another, but yet at the same time, the outcomes are predictable. So, and then you don't really have any legitimate tension between the fighters because they're all like, oh, hey, man, may the best man win. Hey, he's a great guy. And I'm really happy to be able to get this shot for this championship. And we're two gentlemen fighting. No tension whatsoever. You have no tension between Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker. You got no tension between Joseph Parker and Carlos and Derek Chisora before that fight was kicking off. It's just carefully match-made fights where most times where the outcome of that fight is going to be. And if it didn't actually turn out to be that way, the judges ensure it regardless. So that's what I saw in the fight with Jace, that I got out of the fight with Jace, with Paul Logan and KSI that I did not get, and I do not get very often. The one guy that I will tell you that I get that from is Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder, because his style, because he's not technically sound, he's not predictable, because he is technically sound. Because what he's going to do is not as predictable. You are always on the edge of your seat about when that fight's going to end, how it's going to end. You could be thinking he's getting outboxed and all of a sudden a bomb drops from the ceiling and he's gone. You can also tell that he has a real intent to do damage to the person that he's fighting. He's not playing. Listen to the press conferences with Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz, or the press conferences between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, or Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale. He's actually out there telling this dude what he's going to do to him, and he 100% means that he's going to do it. So you not only do you get unpredictability in the fight, because you just don't know what's going to happen, or when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. And you get the tension before the fight starts. That's what is missing from most boxing cards, and what you saw at a very low World Star Hip Hop Subway fight type of level with KSI and Paul Logan. And I think I would hope that would be what could be replicated throughout boxing in other fights. Give us some unpredictability to the fights, man. So we don't walk in there being like, well, Lomachenko is this superhero that can never lose. And then you have him in a fight against somebody that nobody's heard of, a guy that can't lose against a fighter that nobody's ever heard of. And then you wonder, why people don't want to watch it. That's why people don't want to watch it. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.